Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Okay guys, what's going down in your connection? What's happening? That's what we're taking a look at today. And before I begin, I just want to say thank you to the lovely ladies who sent me these two decks. We've got the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. These were a gift from one of my tarot students, Yasmina. Thank you so much, my darling. I've actually got a really interesting story about these cards as well, because I was playing with them yesterday and I wasn't in a good place yesterday. And I went to the toilet and I was really not feeling great at all. I was in a really bad place. And when I turned around to flush, one of these cards called Release was in the toilet. So it must have got stuck to my butt, and I've somehow managed to transfer it to the loo. Needless to say, it is no longer a part of this deck, that Release card, because it was released into the toilet bowl. But I obviously needed that message in a very poignant location. So thank you so much, Yasmina, for these. You're such a sweet treat. We are, of course, going to use them in today's reading. I also received these cards. This is the Oracle of Mermaids. They're really pretty. This is from April, and she says, I greatly appreciate your readings and have found them to be relaxing and highly intuitive. I thought these cards are especially beautiful and I hope they will bring you joy. They certainly will do that. I'm looking forward to using those in today's reading as well. I love mermaids. One of my favourite things. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at what is happening in your connection to your person. This could be a twin flame, a soulmate, or just some, a love interest that you've been involved with. We're going to look at what the energy is between you, how you're both thinking and feeling about the connection, what's shifting, and more importantly, what is the guidance for moving forward. I'm just going to check all the cards are in shot. Let's move it back a bit so we've got a bit more room. That's better. Okay, so let me turn the cards around so you can choose your pile. You can pause the video to douse over these, choose from whatever crystal you're drawn to, or just the timestamps. Just trust your intuition. And if there's more than one pile that calls to you, just watch both piles. It may mean that there's messages in both for you. So we have got the 5 Cents Tarot with Amethyst. We've got the Lioness Oracle Tarot with Selenite. We've got the Naked Heart Tarot with clear quartz, and we've got the Good Tarot with obsidian. So I'm going to put them over there. The timestamps are in the description box below. And don't forget to check out my playlist, because all of my readings are timeless and they're all ordered into categories in my playlist, so you can find them easily. So there could be some other reads that are relevant to you now that you didn't see before, especially if you're a new subscriber. Welcome to all my new subs. It's so lovely to have you join us. Okay, let's get this show on the road. Part 1, Madame Clara's 5 Cent Tarot. I love this deck. So we're going to be using 3 decks for you. Now this green deck is for you, the viewer, for the Divine Feminine. If you're the Divine Masculine, please feel free to refer to the energies on the right, but I'm going to assume that the viewer is the Divine Feminine. And we're looking at the Divine Feminine energies on the left, Divine Masculine energies on the right, and the connecting energies down the middle. I am going to use the gender pronouns he and she. But of course, these readings aren't gender specific. So it could be she, he. Just adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit. I'm just going to use she and he because that's easy for me to remember while I'm channeling. It's just more intuitive for me to use those. But I'm not trying to offend anyone. Just adjust them as you see fit, as is appropriate for your situation. So give those a shuffle. Now I'm going to get a significator for the masculine energies and the feminine energies from the Spirit Animal Oracle. So for the feminine, we have got Buffalo Spirit. For the masculine, we have got Vulture Spirit. And for the connecting energies, we have got Turkey Spirit. Okay, so let's pull some cards for the Divine Feminine. What's happening in your connection? What are the current energies of the Divine Feminine? Let's have a look. We have got the 10 of Cups, the Messenger in reverse. Now this is an extra card in this deck. And the 9 of Wands in reverse. How is she thinking and feeling in this connection? We have got the 4 of Cups in reverse, the 2 of Swords, and Death. And what's shifting for her? What's shifting for our Divine Feminine? We've got the 8 of Cups in reverse, the 9 of Swords in reverse, and the Sun in reverse. Now I'm just going to check that all of the cards are in shot. No, we need to bring it forward a bit. Just move some of these decks. I've got so much junk on my table. Okay, that's better. We can see everything now. Brill. Okay, let's pull some cards for our Divine Masculine. I'm using the Muse Tarot today for the masculine energies. Okay, what are the current energies for our masculine? We have got the Devil, Eight of Cups, and the Muse of Voices, or Muse of Swords. So it's kind of the embodiment of a Swords energy. We have got for current feelings the Emperor in reverse, Three of Swords in reverse, and the Magician. And what's shifting for our masculine? We have got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Nine of Wands in reverse, and the Three of Cups in reverse. Okay, I'm just going to shift these over a bit. Let's get some connecting energies. I'm using, what are these called? The Spirit Speak Tarot deck. The connecting energies down the middle. So current energies is Three of Swords. Current connecting feelings is Queen of Pentacles. And what's shifting for them is the Eight of Pentacles. Right. I'm going to pull, we haven't got a lot of room on the table, but I'm going to pull some oracle cards just to help reinforce these messages. So, for masculine, we've got growth and prayer. If you're interested in what decks I'm using, I do list them all in the description box below for the feminine. And if you can see these, let me just about. We've got service and perfection. Okay. So, our Divine Feminine is in the Buffalo energy. This is such a grounded, stable energy. This is the energy of diligence, hard work, workmanship, mastery, skill. But I do think it's, that Buffalo energy is also very kind, very grounded. It says here that the abundant universe will provide. And it's a number 10 card, which is the number of completion, ending of cycles. So I do feel like this Divine Feminine, is in a nice energy. I feel like she's been working really hard to bring herself into balance. And it feels like she's, it's difficult to stay in alignment and balance all the time because we're human beings having a human experience. But it does feel like this Divine Feminine is holding her own power and space very well. I'm going to bring this card to you because it's really beautiful. And you can see here that, the dominant colours on the buffalo are orange and red, which is the lower two chakras, again reinforcing this idea. We've also got these orange and yellow oracle cards here for the Divine Feminine. So this is very much reinforcing the idea that she is working very diligently in her 3D reality. She's feeling very grounded. I feel like she's in a fairly good place. Her current energies, we've got the Ten of Cups, and this is beautiful. This is about harmony, family bliss, and happiness. And I do feel, however, that she may be so focused on her 3D reality and being balanced in that respect that she is unreceptive to her spiritual guidance and intuition. She's missing divine signs. I feel like what's happened with this Divine Feminine is that she's worked really hard to get her into this place of balance, and now she's taking it a little bit for granted. She's forgetting that it requires a lot of self-care, self-love, and time for self to maintain this state. So even though you're in quite a good place now, I do feel like you need to make sure that you hold on to this, that you continue with this act of service towards self, this act of self-care and self-love. Don't take this wonderful feeling for granted because you could find it dissipating. And it does feel like you're not paying attention, as I said, to some of the divine signs, and you're not taking adequate protection either in your spiritual affairs. You need to be aware of protecting yourself so that you're not compromised and you can be receptive to a truthful connection to spirit. With the Nine of Wands in reverse, I really feel like with this connection is a bit of a struggle for her at the moment. Even though she's been really persistent, she's tired at the moment and she doesn't feel, now she's in a good place. She just doesn't feel like she needs to pursue it. The thing is, this is kind of running. Now, my readings are twin flame focused, and this does feel like a very spiritually developed person that I'm reading for here. You may not be a twin flame, but my gut feeling is you're at least dealing with a high level soulmate, if not a twin. And you've kind of pulled back because you're just so tired and things just felt such a struggle. And I feel that you're also concerned that this person isn't true to you. They may have a third party situation, or you're suspicious that they have a third party situation. And so this has caused you to kind of pull back. The Divine Masculine is in this vulture spirit, and this is a number 9 card. It's a very independent energy. And, I say it's 63, which reduces to 9. It's a very independent energy. And, it says here nothing is wasted. And, of course, the vulture swoops in and picks up all the leftovers, doesn't it? It makes sure that, nothing goes to waste, of course. What I'm really drawn to here is the fact that this vulture has got this very reddish pinkish tone and is crowned by his connection to spirit. So I do feel like, this particular Divine Masculine is really trying hard not to waste any opportunities that he has with his feminine at the moment. He certainly stopped taking this connection for granted, and probably because she's put the brakes on somewhat. I mean, the Turkey spirit is give with gratitude and grace. And this is a number 7 card. 61, which reduces to 7. 6 being number of love and 1 being a new beginning. So, and 6 here, 6 being the number of love, 3 being the number of creation. So what it feels like happened is that this Divine Masculine has reacted very strongly to this Divine Feminine, creating boundaries and pulling back from the connection. And this has now allowed love to have a new beginning with gratitude and with grace. But this Divine Masculine is not in the best of places. Whilst he may be trying to, reassure his Divine Feminine, in reality, he's also pulled back emotionally with this 8 of Cups. And he's in this devil energy. He's working through addictions, unhealthy attachments. But he really is now beginning to think at, quite a higher intellectual level and with wisdom about what he needs to do to move forward into growth. He knows he needs to change. He knows he needs to release addictions. So I do feel like there is a lot of awareness with this Divine Masculine that even though he's pulled back, he is communicating from a much more mature space, an emotionally mature space. He's responded to this Divine Feminine's kind of, refusal to stay stuck in the same cycle. And this has now allowed him to start creating something new. And he knows that starts with himself. So I do feel like these are fairly positive energies, even though it does appear that there's a bit of a stalemate, separation type of energy between you as well. But I do think this has come after, I feel like your masculine said, look, I just need a bit of time to sort things out. He's offered some reassurance, he's offered some love. But, the connecting energies here is the 3 of Swords, which, to me indicates a lot of pain. And this is a really interesting card for the 3 of Swords, because you can see that there's a band-aid over this bleeding heart. And 3 is also the number of creation. Now, a band-aid obviously isn't going to fix the problem underneath, but it's at least helping stem the flow of pain. 3 is also the number of creation. So even though this is a painful card, I do feel like both parties are moving through a really powerful healing process. In particular, the masculine, who's now identifying his need to grow and to shift. Very intense energies, the masculine. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for him. Because there's a fear of loss now. I think the Divine Feminine has been so devoted that he honestly didn't expect her to pull back. And it's her pulling back and saying, you know, I'm really tired by this and I don't want to struggle anymore and I don't trust you and you're really inconsistent, that this has caused him to finally take stock. I think he thought that she would just continue to be devoted and that she would, you know, she'd just hang around indefinitely. So it's definitely spurred him into action, but he is panicked. The fear of loss is quite significant in him. I can literally feel it as an ache in my heart. And that's not a positive energy either for him. So even though it's kind of had the desired result, it's triggered him into action. You've got to be mindful, Divine Feminine, that kind of, well, you know, it's part of the 3D paradigm to say to someone, you either meet my expectations or if. It's not loving unconditionally. And I know that's a really fine line to tread, because you've got to have healthy boundaries and you've got to be true to yourself. But I do feel like it would really serve you at this time to just say, look, you know, I do love you, I do care about you, and, you know, I have to live my life for me, but I'm really kind of behind you and supporting you in your healing, and, you know, I really want to be there for you. I've got to look after me first, but I lovingly allow you the space to kind of, you know, pursue your own healing and growth. I feel like he really needs to hear that, because this is going to release him to kind of start assessing what growth needs to happen from a bit more of a calm place, because he is transforming. He's transforming out of this addictive kind of attachment-driven personality. This is the devil. It's distorted love. It's such an interesting card in this deck, because we see in the background here this butterfly, you know, with this beautiful fire, which is fire is a very destructive but very passionate force. And, you know, the devil energy here that's got its arms crossed, you know, that, and you can also see that butterfly behind it. So I feel like this, you know, this is the energy of creation. This is moving away from addiction, moving away from unhealthy attachment and allowing yourself to come into full bloom. It's a really beautiful depiction of the devil energy. In terms of what the Divine Feminine is thinking and feeling, as I said, I feel like she has withdrawn. She's retreated. And actually, I think now that she's found some peace within her through her spiritual development, you know, she's actually a little bit apathetic about the connection. You know, she's at an impasse. She's kind of avoiding it. She's going through her own transformation, and she's embracing this brand new beginning and of not feeling so painfully attached to this person. As I said, he's felt that shift. And remember, energy doesn't lie, so you don't need to say these things to him, you know, I'm going, or if you didn't really need to say that. Your energy was enough to make him understand. But again, there is this card is actually called meditation, when it's the right way up. And again, the fact that it's reversed, I do feel like, you know, you mustn't withdraw from your spiritual development just because you've got into a good place. Maintenance is key. You will quickly slip back in vibration and those good feelings if you don't maintain your practice. And there is a warning here that you mustn't stagnate. You know, you need to keep moving forward. It does feel like you need to make a decision, or you have wanted to make a decision. You've kind of made the decision that you're having this own new beginning. You're transitioning and you're moving forward, and you're being focused on yourself and your own abundance. It does feel like there's a distraction as well. It could be a family member is unwell and that you're caring for other people, and that this is also taking precedence and helping you keep distracted from this situation. But it feels like it's also distracting you from your spiritual path. And so I'm guided to remind you, and I did write a post about this today, we have to put ourselves first. We have to care for ourselves before we care for others, because if we break, if we're running on empty, we're not going to be as effective at caring for others anyway. So this service card, it's quite a literal message. You can see here that these, this person is visiting this lady in what appears to be on a sick bed, and there are two people here next to her which are in the light. So I don't know if this is spiritual visitors or if you're literally, you know, caring for someone who's unwell. But there is a message here about, you know, caring for others and needing to remember to care for yourself first, and to not be such a perfectionist in that. There's a lot of yellow. This is a red card. It relates to the the root chakra. And the fact that she's surrounded by this yellow, seems to be exhaling yellow, for me indicates triggers relating to inner child wounds. Now she's picking raspberries from the raspberry vine. So, I do think there is abundance, peace and success to be found in embracing your triggers and in releasing in that way. And, there's a lot of blue here as well, which means integrating some kind of truth. But you don't have to be, a perfectionist about it. I'm guided to say, allow yourself to be a beginner. I feel like you do get frustrated with yourself when you get triggered again, because you somehow think that you're surrendered now and that shouldn't happen. But surrender is an ongoing process. It's not something that just happens and then we're healed and we're done. And so you are going to keep finding more stuff comes up, and that's okay. You can lovingly allow that and just, trust that this is just part of your growth. It doesn't mean that you've failed. The masculine is feeling really out of control. We've got the Emperor in reverse. This is distorted masculine energy. He's not feeling very balanced at all, but he is beginning to embrace his own power because he is healing. This kind of 8 of Cups, in which he's been able to kind of emotionally detach and start reflecting on his own inner kind of emotional depth, has allowed him to start releasing some of the anxiety, the anguish and the pain that has been holding him back. And this has allowed for him, a new beginning. I do feel like with this prayer card as well, that this divine masculine is discovering his spiritual self. He's discovering, pardon me, he's discovering that when he commits time to very quiet contemplation and prayer and so forth, that he does feel better. And this has empowered him to kind of to find more. I do feel like he's empowered also by his divine feminine. He feels very inspired by her. I think the growth he's seen in her has kind of motivated him to seek that growth and healing for himself. He sees how she's transformed. He sees how much better she feels. And, he wants to be a better man for her. But as I said, right now, he does feel somewhat out of control. Everything is up in the air, and even though he's definitely now on an upward or forward cycle and moving in the right direction, things are still challenging for him. And this kind of disables him really from fully embracing the connection from a loving perspective, but he's kind of on his way there for sure. The connecting energy here is the Queen of Pentacles, and this is a really beautiful energy because it speaks of that kind of self-fulfillment, independence. It's a very nurturing, stable, very grounded energy. And for this to be the connecting energy as well is very revealing. I think it's that even though both partners may be apart, certainly on the 5D level, there is that very nurturing, grounded connection that kind of allows both parties to feel stable, even when it doesn't appear to be that they're connected in the 3D or really getting along. But really, for me, this card speaks of supporting each other anyway. I'm really guided that she's got her third eye open in this card. And for me, obviously, 3 is the number of creation, and creating that vision based on your 5D connection and allowing it to empower your 3D is really quite beautiful. I feel like both of you really trust in the love of the other, even though the masculine is kind of a bit panicked about it. His fear of loss has been triggered. Deep down, he trusts in this divine feminine's loyalty and devotion and care. This is a really lovely, nurturing energy. In terms of what's shifting for the divine feminine, again, there's a warning here that you need to really focus on your spiritual journey. You've done so much work to bring yourself back to a good place, but we've got the 8 of Cups here in reverse, and this came up for your masculine. In this deck, it's called avoidance, fear of loss, walking away. And it does feel like, again, you're so busy looking after others at the moment or being very focused on your 3D reality that you're not taking care of yourself. You're avoiding that inner work. I do think as well, with the 9 of Swords in reverse here, that this is a coping mechanism, that sometimes when things are really painful, it's easier for you to kind of withdraw and stop analysing your feelings, but you're really guided here to pay attention to them. That's how you let go. I mean, the 9 of Swords in reverse does indicate that there is, whatever situation has been stressing you out and keeping you stuck in anxiety is about to release. This is the card, Nine of Swords in reverse is a release of anxiety. But, we've also got discontent here, the Sun in reverse. This is pessimism. This is an energy of not facing the truth, or things not being as that we need them to be. So, in terms of what's shifting for the Divine Feminine, I feel like this is an indication that you really do need to take stock of self-care. That's come through all the way through this reading, that you mustn't let your good disciplined habits of self-care and self-love and meditation and so forth slip. And even though it feels painful to focus on your emotions when they're so deep, or there's a lot of stuff coming up that hurts, this is how you release it and move past it. You don't need to try and cope with it and carry it with you. You can just give yourself the time to release it. And this will help you bring, more happiness and optimism and joy back into your life and your connection. What's shifting for the masculine? I do feel like for some masculines there may have been a period of unemployment, or that they may be coming towards a period of unemployment. He's certainly not giving up, but there does feel like, again, and this could just be the energies for you too in terms of how they're moving, but this does feel like a lack of joy, a discontent. It very much, even though this is the Three of Cups in reverse, both cards upright mean joy to me. And for the Divine Masculine as well, this is an interesting Three of Cups, because we can see here that this woman is waist deep in water, in emotion. Of course, when it's reversed, everything is out of balance, and presumably, by the laws of gravity, that water would tumble down and swallow her whole. So this really does feel to me that, this masculine, because he is so focused on healing, it's kind of, there is going to be a period of time where he very much feels like he's drowning in emotion and really struggling to keep his head above water, but he's not giving up. There is an energy of kind of perseverance and drive about him, that he really wants to get through this. The connecting energy here is Eight of Pentacles, is really positive. This reassures us that even though both parties may be facing some discontent and challenging feelings and circumstances, that actually things are going to work out, that they're both on the right path. And to remember that sometimes the universe gives us what we need and not what we want. And what we get isn't always what we think we need. We have to trust that it's a valuable part of our journey, and it is leading us in the right direction, even if it's sometimes painful. So for the Divine Feminine, we've got divination as well. This is prophecy, fate, destiny, and future fortune. As I said, there's a lot of abundance around the Divine Feminine at the moment. We've got wave of power even, and Lemuria returns. Let's see what we've got for the masculine. Soul cage, energy field adjustment, and freedom. So these top two are number 6 cards to the Divine Feminine. We've got 1 and 5, that new beginning through transformation, which leads to love. And we've got 4 and 2, balance, harmony, and stability, with that energy of duality, which brings, love. So both of these are number 6 cards. As I said, for me, this is really about the Divine Feminine recognizing how powerful her ability to connect to her emotions through her spirituality is, how powerful that is, how that's helping her grow. And it's also reminding you that, Spirit wants you to stay committed, because it's when you're connected to the light that you're going to receive the best opportunities to experience that wave or surge of power and that upswing in energy. When everything is aligned for it to be just so. If you're disconnected, you're going to miss those kind of bursts of change. So, I think sometimes, especially because you've got yourself in a better place, you may have started thinking, should I let this person go? I feel better now. I don't feel as unhealthily attached to them. It doesn't feel as painful. Now, this is a number 11 card, Lemuria returns. It's got earthy spirituality and community, ocean conservation. As I said, it's the number 11 card, but she's clutching a kind of pregnant belly here, and this for me is the symbol of creation and rebirth. And it's saying, you could have both. You can have that earthly stability, and you still have the confidence and the power to continue on this journey. So for the masculine, we've also got 2 number 6 cards here. We've got 2 and 4, so duality and harmony and balance brings love. And we've got the number 6. Now this card is called Soul Cage, rescue, escape from captivity and restriction. And I feel like, you know, this is this devil energy, again, this distorted love energy that makes him feel like he needs to be rescued, you know, but he's got to learn how to rescue himself. This energy field adjustment, I think, reassures us that, you know, divine spirit is always working to activate different lights in our system, you know, to upgrade things so that we are able to move forward feeling our best. And this is what this feels like is happening. And it's also creating some freedom and independence so that we can move forward. This is number 7 card for me. That's the number of divine intervention, as identified in the tarot by the Chariot and the Tower. So it does really feel like, you know, the universe is moving things out of his way so that he can start feeling powerful and in control of his own journey rather than seeking solace in his divine feminine. I think he's aware that he needs to do that now. You know, he's aware that he was kind of anxiously attached to his divine feminine, that he received a lot of I guess the word would be nurturing love, and, you know, just that kind of, he was feeding off it, you know, he needed it somehow, and I think he's identifying that that isn't an ideal energy. So what's the guidance for both of you? I'm going to get a few more cards. Divine feminine, we've got miracle, bittersweet, and insecurity. For divine masculine, we've got impartiality, dissipating, and enlightenment. Okay. So the guidance for the divine feminine is to trust in miracles, because I'm getting the impression that you feel right now that things with your masculine are just impossible. And even though you feel a lot more at peace in his absence, you know, it is this kind of bittersweet energy. This insecurity card very much mirrors the devil energy. And what we actually see here is this masculine blocking his heart because of fear. Yeah, the devil represents fear. And I think you're being guided to recognize that his withdrawal from you, and, you know, it's not personal. I think intellectually and logically, you know this to be the case. You know he has to heal himself. But when he says, I'm not ready for commitment, you can't help internalizing that. But his heart space is blocked. It's blocked due to inner child wounds. And he's just not ready to give you what he wants. And as I said, I feel like you're kind of sort of at peace with this truth, but you're still struggling to accept it. It still triggers you. And you just need to trust in the miracle of the universe, because they're always moving things to bring, you know, you together. You've just got to trust that that is happening. I feel like this is a period for the divine masculine of just being, bringing things back into balance, and also of letting go of things that previously, this is about boundaries. This is a bit like this service card we had for the divine feminine, but getting comfortable being on his own, rather than keeping himself busy serving others, and just allowing himself to be curious and questioning about his own life and the feelings that do trigger him, the truths that do trigger him. It's all about bringing himself back into balance. And again, this enlightenment card certainly ensures that, again, that, you know, we've got miracle and enlightenment. These are both very triggering colours. The yellow is the colour of the solar plexus, our trigger centre. And I feel like, you know, this is reminding you that the divine is always speaking to him. And I believe he's beginning to listen. You know, we've already got him praying. I do think that these are quite big shifts for this divine masculine. Even though you're not together, you're not in union, which is what you're so focused on. You know, things are moving in the right direction. Okay, so we've got resolving conflict for the divine feminine and chivalry for the masculine. So this is a really beautiful card. I want to show you what's happening here. So as you can see, you see this lady sending energy straight to this man's heart, and he's in the cave. You know, she's out here with all this beautiful technicolor, and he's hiding in this cave, looking, you know, pretty demoralized and sad, and she's sending him love, she's sending him energy. And I know you've expressed so much disappointment in this guy. You know, you may have said really harsh words, you're not good enough until you can give me what I deserve, and all of this stuff. And it's kind of, you know, he's gone off in his cave to try and heal himself, but that, as I said, that's loving conditionally, that's showing non-acceptance. And it, you know, you can still send him love. I feel like this is going to help resolve the conflict and help him come out of his cave, help him trust and keep coming towards you. For the masculine, we've got chivalry. You know, he really wants to make an effort. He really wants to show you that he can, you know, be romantic. He can show his gratitude and his appreciation. We've got an eagle up here, which represents spiritual messengers. So this could be divinely guided actions from him. He stood next to a horse, which is a symbol of loyalty and intelligence. So, you know, he's really thinking about how he can come forward with some truth. This is spiritually guided. He's wearing a purple cloak, and of course he's got those roses which represent a gesture of love. So I do think you're going to see him making a lot more effort in future, but you need to resolve this conflict so that he's not afraid of your reaction, because that's what's going to stop him coming forward. You know, that's what creates the runner-chaser push-pull energy between you, is when they fear your reaction, because they're, you know, you've made clear you have expectations you want to be met. So they're thinking, you know, I've not met her expectations. Is she going to want to hear from me? Is she going to be angry with me? So you really need to focus on resolving that conflict and getting into that space and loving unconditionally, so that he is free to act upon that divine impulse, this divine guidance, to come forward and express himself without fear of your reaction, without fear of rejection. So I really hope that helps, pile one. It was a joy to read for you as always. And if you would like to book a private reading with me, I am only doing 1 hour sessions at the moment, just because doing lots of short sessions is quite draining and I just need a little break. I will be back to those at some point in the future, maybe in a month or two. But for now, you can book a 1 hour session with me. I can do a twin flame connection check in that 1 hour, and I can also do a tarot reading, but it primarily is a kind of guidance focused reading or session with me. You can find that on my website at happysouls1111.com. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm back to posting there regularly at the moment. I do lots of mini reads, usually every day, so you can come and check me out there. I'm at happysouls1111. And don't forget to check out my retreat. I'm holding a retreat in June in England near Stonehenge. We will be visiting Stonehenge. I'm so excited to come together with you, Happy Souls. There are still some places left. Hopefully I'll see you there. Again, you can find information on the website, happysouls1111.com. I'll see you next time. Hello, part 2. Welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Okay. Got the Lioness Oracle Tarot for you. These are such fabulous cards. I love them. Okay, guys, we're looking at what is going on in your connection. What's happening? I'm going to pull some significators for you guys. I'm going to use a different deck for the masculine energies, and I'm going to use a different deck for the connecting energies. But let's start with a significator. And while I'm shuffling these, just to remind you that I am going to use the he, she gender pronouns. Now, this is just the easiest thing for me when I'm channeling. It's very difficult to remember they, your person, and so on and so on. So just for ease of my own working ability, I'm going to use the gender pronouns he and she. No offence intended. Please just adjust them as you see fit. These readings aren't gender specific. You could be she, he. You know, whatever works for you. We're going to look at the divine feminine energies on the left, divine masculine energies on the right. So as I said, I'm going to refer to divine feminine as she, divine masculine as he, but it could be she, he, she, whatever works for you guys, okay? So let's get some spirit animal oracle cards as the significators. So for the divine feminine, we've got the scarab beetle spirit, magic works through you. For the divine masculine, we've got the coyote spirit, trust in divine detours. And the connecting energy is the rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. Love rabbits. Such a divine animal. Okay, so let's pull some cards for our divine feminine. We're looking at what are her current energies surrounding the connection, how she's thinking and feeling about the connection, and what's shifting for her. We will pull some oracle cards to get some advice and guidance as well. Okay. Current energies of the divine feminine. We've got the King of Swords in reverse. Wow, we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. And we have got the Three of Cups. How's she thinking and feeling about the connection? We've got the Eight of Wands in reverse. We've got the World. And we've got the Queen of Wands. And what's shifting for our Divine Feminine? We've got the Empress in reverse. We've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. And we've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. These are really heavy energies for our Divine Feminine. And just check that they're all in shot. We could do with moving them up a bit. That's better. Okay. So for the Divine Masculine, we're using the Light Seers Tarot. I beg your pardon, it's the Muse Tarot by Pixie Curio. We can use a different one for the connecting energies down the centre. So what's the current energies for our masculine? The Muse, I Am. This is a really powerful card in this deck. I'm going to get the book and explain it. We've got the Nine of Wands. We've got the Five of Cups. How's he thinking and feeling about the connection? Page of Cups. Four of Wands in reverse. And the Page of Wands in reverse. What's shifting for our Divine Masculine? Queen of Swords. Three of Cups. And the Emperor. Okay. So again, very intense energies for both parties. There's a lot going on here. I feel tense even like looking at the cards. You guys, I feel like you've been at loggerheads. Okay. So connecting energies. This is the energy that both counterparts share. We've got Strength in reverse, the Page of Pentacles in reverse, and the Page of Swords in reverse. I'm going to get a couple of oracle cards. Let me just check that you can see all of these. I'm going to move this back slightly. There we go. It's going to give us a little bit more room to get all the oracle cards in. Okay. I will pull more oracle cards as we go. This is just for now. Oh, God. Dropping cards everywhere. Gossip, dissipating of the masculine, enlightenment, and recovery. Okay, so let's start with our Divine Feminine. Let me just move these cards because it's really going to annoy me that they're falling everywhere. It's bad vibes. Okay, Scarab Beetle Spirit. Magic works through you, Divine Feminine. This is a 5 and 2. So it reduces to 7, which is a very divine number. It's a very lucky, auspicious number. And the Scarab Beetle is, for me, a symbol of protection. Magic works through. I feel like this Divine Feminine is very much in touch with her psychic development right now, but she's out of balance in terms of her alignment with the love within her, is what I'm hearing. This King of Swords and Queen of Swords reversed energy is very, very intense. You know, this to me indicates massive conflict, and the fact that we've got Three of Cups here, this feels like this is massive conflict between a karmic partner or spouse, or, you know, this is a couple here. And for the King and Queen of Swords, when they're in reverse, are really cold, cutting, harsh energies. You know, these are two people who are not getting along. I'm sensing a lot of conflict here, a lot of really dark confrontation, and, you know, kind of this feeling of being trapped in this cycle. Spirit has reminded you that you are divinely protected, though, and that this serves you. This is how you learn. We've got this Gossip card with 3 people here, and again, this Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups can be the card of partying, socialising, celebrations, but you see they both represent 3 women. So I don't know if these arguments, you know, I'm hearing for some of you, this might not be for all of you, but I'm hearing for some of you that you're trying to move on from this person and they're absolutely convinced it's because of these women you're spending time with, or, you know, these gossipy friends who are trying to turn you against them. You know, sometimes people refuse to see the end of their own nose, and that the problems in their relationship are created by the relationship and one another and not people external to it. But it certainly feels like for some of you, they feel like there's been external interference. whatever's happening between you, this is intense and it's very hard. But I do think ultimately it is for your growth. For this to be a number 3 card as well, this is the number of rebirth, creation, brand new beginnings. And I do feel like, this might be the beginning of the end for you with this person. And actually, if things are so tense between you, that's probably a good thing. For the Divine Masculine, now I wanted to get this Muse I Am card and explain. So the Muses are the kings, but this is the king of the whole deck. This is a really beautiful card. You can see again, this is a rebirth. This is someone, with their beautiful wings unfolding, ready to take flight. What's really interesting here is that they're wearing a mask. You see that? And they're wearing a mask. They're really covering their faces up. They're not revealing their true selves yet. So that's such an interesting energy. But we've got first this Coyote spirit energy, trusting in divine detours. And again, this is a number 7 card, 1 and 6, a new beginning plus love, this kind of divine intervention. So I do feel like the universe is really giving you two a helping hand at the moment, especially with this this rabbit energy as well. And this reduces to number 3. I beg your pardon, to number 4. Balance, harmony, stability, this rabbit, this being a lucky time. But the Divine Masculine, he's suddenly gone through some kind of transformation, is what I'm hearing. And we've got enlightenment over here clarifying this, I really do feel like he's kind of woken up somehow. He's recognized the truth of your connection. And he's still wearing a mask because he's not really sure how to express himself. He's not really sure how to align this with his inner truth. But it does feel like he's been given a glimpse of what this connection really means and the spiritual nature of it. And he's determined to continue. He's determined to make this work. He is in a lot of pain, though, with this 5 of Cups energy. And I feel if you're the person with the karmic over here, this could be him, really trying to move through that transition as gracefully as possible, but finding it quite painful. And again, even though he's having this beautiful rebirth, he's still not sure how to integrate this with the truth of who he is. This has redefined how he sees life. It's kind of given him a whole new belief system, and that's quite an intense thing to experience for a person. The connecting energies being the rabbit. As I said, this is a very auspicious card. It's the card of balance and harmony. But the strength card here is reversed. And what's really interesting is that it's actually a rabbit. It's a rabbit energy here that's restraining the lion. Obviously, it's in reverse. And I feel like what this is saying is, strength, and this is good advice to the Divine Feminine especially, because strength isn't about being assertive. It's not about being aggressive or, winning a fight. That's not real strength. Real strength is in your loving, compassionate, gentle heart, which is demonstrated here by the rabbit. The rabbit can restrain the lion, not with force, because it's a much physically weaker animal, but with love and gentility. And for this to be in reverse, I do feel like, both parties are out of balance with this kind of loving, genteel rabbit energy. And there's 3 rabbits in this as well. The symbol of creation is actually supporting their growth right now and asking them to come back into harmony. So there's a lot of fear still in this connection. There's a lot of dramatic change. And I feel like both parties are kind of struggling through it. As I said, I think this Divine Feminine is very connected to her psychic development, but not her spiritual healing. And I say this as well because her current feelings, I feel like she's kind of in this energy of, I haven't got time for this. Her desire to make it work is beginning to dissipate because she's been so triggered by her own karmic cycles and so frustrated with the slow movement of this connection that she's kind of just given up. She's kind of just given up and assumed it's over, and she's just going to focus on herself. She's going to focus on her own spirituality, her own passions, her own. This is about creating a new life for herself, perhaps without him in it. I feel this is what's triggered him quite hard, because just as it feels like he's had a major breakthrough, Divine Feminine's like, she's so frustrated, I think, with masculine energy in general, that she's just, you know, I've had enough. I'm kind of tired of all these men just creating difficulties for me. She's wanting to go in and to question her own truth, and she's questioning the truth of this connection, is what I'm hearing. But she is at least investing in her spiritual self, albeit the focus being more on psychic development than healing development. So I do think she's feeling somewhat kind of frustrated with her divine masculine, and you know, he's not in balance, and he knows he needs to you know, make an offer. I feel like he knows he needs to make an offer, but he's not equipped to do that yet. I do think he's trying really hard to respond to these heart triggers that really, you know, her kind of, you know, just losing interest somewhat, I guess. You know, this, I feel like he's trying to communicate what's in his heart, but he's struggling. He's really struggling to take that depth inwards and allow it to fully consume him, so that he can really speak from a place of truth. Of course, I mean, we talked about enlightenment, but we've got this very interesting card here called recovery, where divine spirit presents this key. And as I said, I really do think this guy has got the key. He's been made aware of the spiritual nature of this connection, and you know, he's kind of ready to embrace it, but he's still got to find the right door. You know, he's still got to make his way and turn the lock. It does feel like there's some stagnant energy between these two, and as I said, it was quite heated, tense energies when I got it up, that one or both needs to kind of apologize. I feel like this masculine just, you know, he wants to be with this divine feminine, but he knows that's not possible right now. This is something he's been grieving for. This is something he's been trying to come to terms with. You know, that union, I mean, he may not call it union, but that coming together is difficult because of the nature of her situation. So he's kind of in two minds himself. He's kind of like, I'm starting to understand the truth of this journey, but it also feels risky. He's also very triggered. He's also feeling, you know, that fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, and more so because the divine feminine is not in a situation that can support a union right now. In terms of what's shifting for each of them, you know, for the divine feminine, we've got all of these nines in reverse, and we've got the Empress in reverse. So Empress in reverse, Nine of Swords in reverse, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And again, you know, these aren't balanced energies. This is distorted feminine energy. The Nine of Swords is kind of more positive than it being upright, because in the reverse, it does indicate a release of anxiety. But with that, there's a kind of release of material balance, stability and harmony as well. So I do feel that this divine feminine, despite the toxicity in her karmic situation, is choosing comfort and stability over her own well-being. And this is why she stays stuck in distorted energy, because she's not trusting in her ability to be independent. She's choosing instead to release anxiety surrounding her earthly stability, you know, comfort over desire, really. And she's kind of keeping herself stuck. So, you know, in terms of what's shifting, really we just see this same cycle repeating itself. That the divine feminine is miserable, she's unhappy, she's seeking solace perhaps in friendship groups, but she also feels powerless to kind of move away from this situation because she doesn't trust in her ability to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. The masculine's moving into a much more communicative energy. I feel like he's going to start communicating about the truth. He's beginning to understand about this connection, and he's ready to embrace joy. He's ready with this Emperor card. It's really interesting because we've got the Empress here. It's in distorted, but it's him that's moving into balanced Emperor or divine masculine energy, that harmony and balance. He's ready to face his emotions. He's ready to face joy. He's ready to speak his truth. But with the Page of Swords in reverse here, it does feel like communication won't quite get off the ground. In fact, I do feel like communication is probably come to a standstill in this connection as it stands at the moment. I feel like there's not a lot of communication there. But he's ready to speak his truth. Unfortunately, just as he moves into a better place, I feel like our divine feminine is moving into, is stuck in the same cycle and isn't embracing her own healing energies. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. I've got such a tickly cough. Right. Let's get some more cards for you guys. What's the guidance for you two? Time and tide. The magic of the Colleen Druith. And divination. So sorry. I don't know what this cough's come from. Clearly someone here's got a blocked throat chakra. Okay, what have we got for our masculine? Dreams, receptivity, and the unseen. Okay. Okay, these are both number 9 cards. We've got 1 and 8 and 9. 1 and 8 obviously reduces to 9. Okay, so, magic works through you. I do feel like it's possible that, especially we talked about these 3s, and 3 being the number of manifesting. I do think it's possible that this divine feminine is using magic in order to get what she wants, because it says here, time and tide, oceanic spells and rituals, and caution, secrecy, and wary. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to get some water because this cough's not giving up. Oh my goodness, thank you for being so patient. I'm so sorry about that. So as I was saying, I do think that there's a warning here for some divine feminines that have perhaps been using magic with which to try and control their circumstances. And I'm really guided to caution you against this, because even though you're protected, interfering with other people's free will is a definite no-no. This is always going to come back and bite you, and this could have something to do with the energy that's keeping you stuck. We've got divination here as well, prophecy, fate, destiny, future fortune. And I feel like you're being asked to go within rather than relying heavily on, readings like this. I mean, they're great. Oh, goodness me. How convenient to have a coughing fit right in the middle of my reading. I've been fine all morning. I do apologise. You're being guided to really fully embody your spirituality and not just the magic of it, basically. This is really pissing me off now. I'm so sorry. I'm sure it's pissing you off as well. Right. Okay. So there's definitely, a message here about love spells, specifically spells that involve other people. And this really isn't healthy for you. You're being cautioned against this, and to trust in fate. To trust in fate and trust in destiny. You don't need to know what's going to happen. And if you want to know something, then go within and find it from that truth within you. I'm just going to pause the video, guys, and watch this stopped, and then I'll start it again. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, goodness me, part 2. I've not had a cough all morning, and I can only assume that for some of you, you've got really blocked throat chakras. There's a lot of truth that needs to be spoken that's being repressed, because that was quite an intense coughing fit I had for you there. So let's look at our male energy. We've got dreams, receptivity, and the unseen. Vivid dreams, dream messages, dream teaching, and allow yourself to receive, allow yourself to give. So, you know, this divine masculine really is becoming very spiritually aware. He's aware of the signs and synchronicities between you, especially this card. You know, there's a lot of purple and pink. These are very divine colours in this card, colour of the higher chakras. And, you know, he's receptive to this. He's becoming receptive to the truth, but a lot is still hidden from him with this unseen. A lot still needs to be transformed, is what I'm hearing. You know, he's starting to pay attention to the spiritual journey. And so you're being called to connect to the truth with it instead of the distorted reality you may have created for yourself through this kind of magical work that you've been doing. You know, and this is a problem with magical work. You can't actually trust what's happening when you're trying to interfere with people's free will, because you don't know if, you know, they're being true or if they're just responding to the manipulative energy that you've been putting out there to get what you want. It's really not a healthy dynamic. Let's get some more of these for you. Perfection. Bittersweet. Insecurity. Do you know what, this is really bizarre, but the same oracle cards came up for pile 1. The masculine, we've got renewal, mysticism, and impatience. Oh, please don't start off again, goodness me. Okay. So yeah, this is about the magic. This is about getting what you want with this perfection card here, this abundance, getting what you want, but it being bittersweet because you're not sure if it's being given to you in truth and peace or if it's because a result of what you've tried to create for yourself. And we've got insecurity here, you know, a blocked heart space because of fear. So I do feel like there's a lot of inner child wounds that are interfering with this here, that you're trying to get what you want through controlling your external circumstances and the energies around you rather than doing the healing work on yourself, because you are in this distorted feminine energy. And, you know, from what we can see, it looks like you're going to stay stuck in that cycle unless you make some adjustments. For our divine masculine, I mean, these are powerful cards. We've got renewal and mysticism. Again, after enlightenment, dreams, all of these very powerful cards we've had for him, divine detours. You know, this is someone that is really waking up to the truth of who they are and to connecting with their divinity. But he is getting impatient. You know, he wants to know your truth. He wants to know if you really want him. It's interesting, I said about the throat chakra cards, and we've got 2 blue cards for each of you. But there's definitely a need for truth to be spoken here. And I feel like even though there's a lot of love and care between you, neither of you has actually had that conversation and allowed yourselves to be vulnerable and truly authentic in terms of communicating about what you want. Okay, let's get one final card. I'm sure you're sick of me coughing. Oh man. The Gardener for the Divine Feminine. Sexuality for the Masculine. Okay, the Gardener. Tending your garden. This is a really powerful card for me because when I heal myself, I go into a meditative state and I visit my own garden. And in that garden, there's all kind of stuff growing. Some of it I planted and is meant to be there, but other things in there don't belong to me. This could be other people's limiting beliefs or ugly opinions about me. You know, people throwing trash in my garden or weeds and things taking root that shouldn't be there. So for me, the garden is a metaphor for my healing. And when I'm triggered, I go to my garden and find the root of that trigger, the plant that's represented as a metaphor for the trigger I'm inquiring about. And then I sit with it and I ask about it. And if it doesn't serve me, I dig it out and literally, you know, make a ritual of removing it. So for me, as a final guidance card, this is what really, and there's so much divine feminine energy in this card. Look at the trees. You can see here the form of a woman here and here, and also in the background here. Even in some of the flowers, there's a form of a woman. There's a butterfly which symbolises transformation. And again, he's digging stuff out. He's tending his garden. He's removing what shouldn't be there. So for me, this is this is guiding you to heal. This is guiding you to tend your own garden, to be aware of what's growing within you that's limiting you from your own expansion, that's stopping you from coming into full bloom. For the masculine, we've got sexuality. And in this card, he's making an offer. We've got the moon and the sun energy here. This represents perfect balance. And I really do feel like, the lily, I'm trying to remember, the lily is a symbol of, I'm sure it's memories. Lilies are when we want to remember someone. So, this makes sense. He's remembering who he is. He's remembering that actually he's a divine being, he's a spirit, having a human experience and not the other way around. He really wants to speak this with you, but I guess he wants to physically express himself in a balanced and harmonious way. He wants that growth with you. He wants this optimism with you. This is a very sensuous card. He wants you, and you need to create space for this. You need to stop trying to control things and just allow things to be as they are and to unfold at their own pace, and to use all this power that you quite clearly have to support your healing instead of, the creation of specific circumstances or energies within other people or places. I really hope that helps, pile 2. I'm so sorry for that crazy coughing fit that interrupted our reading. My sincere apologies. This has happened to me before and I got loads of complaints in the comments. But I just want to remind you that these videos are free, and I lovingly give my time to support you with these readings. So if it pissed you off, just turn off, don't watch. You don't need to complain. I find it quite shocking that people complain about things that are free. But you're welcome to hit the down button if it bothered you that much. All engagement is fabulous for my channel, so tell me what you think. If you hated it, hit the down button. I don't mind that at all. Okay, so guys, you can still book a private reading with me through my website. I am only doing 1 hour sessions at the moment, but you can get a twin flame connection check in that session, and or you can also get some tarot reading in it. It is primarily guidance or coaching focused session, but I'm happy to do readings for you in it as well if you need some clarity. So you can book that at happysouls1111.com. Okay, pile 3, the Naked Heart Tarot. See what we've got for you. So, whilst I'm shuffling pile 3, just to remind you that I am going to use the he and she gender pronouns. This isn't personal. I'm not trying to offend anyone. It's not because I, think they're right. It's just because when I'm channeling, this is the easiest thing for me to remember without getting muddled or confused. So please just adjust them as you see fit. These readings aren't gender specific. Even though I'm going to refer to the divine feminine on the left and the divine masculine on the right, this could be he, she, he, whatever gender energies work for you. But just for the ease of me reading without confusion, I'm going to say he, she. It's easier for me, okay? So I'm going to ask you, the viewer, just to adjust it as you see fit for you. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I do get complaints about this, but please understand, when I'm channeling, it's really hard to remember they, your person. I just get mixed up. It's just how I work, okay? Right, let's get a significator for each of you. For the divine feminine, we've got the turkey spirit. For the divine masculine, we've got the bee spirit. And the connecting energy here is the otter spirit. Beautiful. This is a spirit animal oracle, but you can find all the decks I'm using listed in the description box below. So divine feminine cards on the right. Current energies for the divine feminine. Let's take a look. What's the current energies for the divine feminine in this connection? 6 of Swords in reverse, 7 of Cups, and the Page of Swords. How's she thinking and feeling about the connection? Page of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, and the 9 of Swords. What's shifting for this divine feminine? Ace of Swords, 8 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, for the divine masculine energies, oh, that doesn't belong over there. Again, apologies for my coughing. For divine masculine energies, we're using the Muse Tarot. So let's have a look. What's the current energies for our divine masculine? We've got Temperance in reverse. We've got the Seven of Swords in reverse. And we've got the Star in reverse. How's he thinking and feeling about this connection? We've got Judgment. We've got the Six of Swords. And we have got the Chariot in reverse. And what's shifting for him? We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We've got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the Empress. Man, this cough is driving me absolutely potty. I've all of a sudden just got sniffles and coughs. I don't know where it's come from. And my chest is hurting. I don't know if it's the energy of the reading or if I'm just coming down with something. It's very sudden onset. Okay, connecting energies down the centre. We're going to use the Spirit Speak Tarot for this. Pardon me. We've got the Fool in reverse, High Priestess in reverse, and the Tower in reverse. These are very, there's a pervasive feeling of hopelessness about the energies to these two. Not that it is hopeless, but that, you know, that's how they're both feeling. That's the vibration they're in. For the masculine, we've got miracle and enlightenment. For the divine feminine, we've got faith and facade. Put your tune in here. It's a very distinctive storyline coming through, so I'm just trying to make sense of it. Pardon me. So this is a divine feminine that wants to align herself with the divine plan. She wants to be faithful. She wants to bring spirituality into her earthly life. She wants to achieve emotional fulfillment. She wants to realize her powers and her divinity. But she's experiencing very slow progress. She doesn't know how to move forward. She doesn't, you know, she's got her head in the pardon me, she's got her head in the clouds and she doesn't know what decision she needs to make in order to move forward in the way which she needs and wants. This Turkey spirit with gratitude and grace, you know, she wants to move into a place of acceptance, but I feel like she's very confused. She's very confused. Everything feels so slow. There's a very frustrated, as I said, hopeless energy. She knows what she wants, but she doesn't know how to get it. These are very blocked energies for our divine masculine. I feel like both parties feel very alone right now. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to pause and cough because I'm going to wait till it's past. Hello, happy souls. Sorry about that. I've had a break. I've got myself a coffee. The coughing has abated. I've asked the powers that be to soothe my throat, please, so I can finish my reading. Okay. So where were we? We're going to talk about our divine masculine. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot of blocked energy here for the divine masculine. Both parties are feeling quite alone, quite lost. I think they both want a new beginning, and despite all of these blocked energies for the masculine, and you know, a lot of this imbalance in him as well is a result of him not understanding the truth of this situation. He's stuck in the dark. We've got the Seven of Swords reversed here. For me, this is normally the card of deception, strategy, or possibly even betrayal. But as you can see in this deck, it's a mirror image of light and dark, and in the reverse it's all focused on the shadow aspect. So I feel like he's just in a dark place, which is prohibiting him from understanding the truth, understanding how to move forward. And with the star here also in reverse, this indicates a lack of faith, which is interesting because this is also, faith is also what our divine feminine is chasing. The otter spirit, which is the number 6, the number of love. Both of these cards are number 7, by the way, divine intervention, the number of divine intervention. But the otter spirit is reminding you both that you are never alone. And it's presented here in a heart shape. It's such a beautiful energy, the otter spirit. So I feel like spirit and the power and love of spirit is supporting your journey. But it feels like neither parties know how to embrace this new beginning. They don't know how to move forward. So there's definitely a lot of imbalance here. There's a resistance, reluctance, or just lack of knowing or understanding how to move forward. And we've also got here, you know, that faith and miracle. And I feel like for both of you to be in these number 7 numbers, number 7 cards, and that beast spirit again assuring you, you know, that sweet results await, is basically suggesting that even though this may feel like a time of confusion and uncertainty, the divine plan is always moving you forward and everything will become clear in its own time. In terms of how our divine feminine's feeling, she's in a lot of pain. And I don't think she understands. We've got the Page of Pentacles here. Again, she desperately wants to move forward. She wants to see beneath the surface. She wants to understand the truth. She wants growth. She wants expansion. But she's in so much pain. We've got the 10 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. And that is a really painful combination. This is someone who's been really, really hurt. And they haven't recovered from that hurt yet. You know, they're really at the end of something, or have just come through something that's been very traumatic, very difficult, or it's possible that this is a very old wound that's just been brought up to the surface and feels really fresh. But either way, I'm feeling that this divine feminine is just really bewildered and really confused. She's having sleepless nights, she's stressed, she can't seem to escape from herself and all of this pain that's within her. She wants to move on. She wants to be optimistic. She wants to embrace her healing. She wants to know what she needs to do to have this faith, to have this spiritual evolution and growth. She just doesn't know. She doesn't know what to do. I feel like she's so triggered at the moment and in so much pain. Really so much pain. The divine masculine. I mean, do you know what? I feel like this couple is separated. I feel like there's been a long separation as well, a period of non-communication for quite some time is my gut feeling. But this divine masculine, things are really shifting for him. You know, he's waking up to the truth of what this connection is. And I feel that he's been bombarded with signs and synchronicities and, you know, he's as curious now about what this connection means. He can no longer ignore it. His own spiritual beliefs don't necessarily align with the ideas he's having about this connection, but he knows there's something, because he knows he's trying to move on from this person and he cannot. He doesn't know why he can't, but there's definitely some kind of, there's so much divine energy on the masculine side. I mean, there is on the feminine side, but I do think this is a period of time in which the masculine's finally starting to reach the conclusion that there's something really deep and meaningful going on here, something otherworldly. He may have Googled it, he may have looked into it. He's feeling an overwhelming compulsion and drive to run towards his feminine, but there's something that's holding him back. And it's fear. And we've got the High Priestess here as the connecting energy. You know, this is both parties, again, not having faith, not having a grasp on their own divinity, not understanding their own power. It could be that for this divine feminine, you've only just realised you're a twin and this is why you're so confused. And so, you know, if you're confused, you can imagine how confused he is. You know, it feels like both of you have been really triggered. You've been in runner-chaser energy, perhaps for years, but maybe only recently arrived at the twin journey. And there is a lot of confusion here, but there is also a lot of deep realizations happening for both of you. It's very painful for the divine feminine, you know, and you just want to heal. You don't want to stay in that pain cycle. I feel like you're ready to let go. You just don't want to feel so bad anymore. It's what I'm hearing. And, you know, he's just feeling like something's going on. You know, there's something bigger than what he can understand happening in this connection. In terms of what's shifting for each of you, I think for you, Divine Feminine, part of you finding faith is accepting the truth. I think a big part of the pain you've been experiencing and the bewilderment is not really being able to accept the truth of this journey. You know, recognizing somehow intellectually that you need to heal, but not really kind of feeling comfortable doing that, feeling like a bit of a freak, you know, feeling like you might be crazy or that other people might think you're crazy. And I think that has kind of what's kept you stuck as well. But I do see you moving into truth. I also see you letting go of 3D situations that don't serve you. This could definitely be a job. And I'm going to pull a clarifier for this actually. Listen, this is letting go of a situation that doesn't serve you but may cause you some financial distress. I feel that's what's happening here. It may be out of your hands, but there's a situation coming up for you that's going to kind of rock the foundations of your financial stability. And this is in part the karmic wheel turning. And I feel terrible sharing this with you because I understand you're already going through a really difficult time. But you know, I'm guided that this is for your highest good, that the universe is literally moving things out of the way that don't serve you. And even though when that tower moment comes, and we have got the tower here, when that tower moment comes, you've just got to trust. You've just got to trust that that which is being removed is for your highest good. Okay, it's the universe moving things out of the way that don't serve you, even though it may be uncomfortable and painful in the moment. I can literally hear some of you saying, oh God, really? Now? But and I know you're having a rough time of this already, but you've just got to trust that this is all moving you towards the path of enlightenment, towards the path of positive change, so that things can be brought back into balance again. This is a good thing, even though it may not feel like it in the moment, but you can trust that everything is going to be okay. Things are going to work out. It's just a brief period of feeling uncomfortable. For the Divine Masculine, we've also got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This came up here. We've also got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and we've got the Empress. And so I feel like that, you know, there's a lot of mirroring here at the moment. You know, you're both starting to wake up to the truth of this journey. And I think, you know, he's trying to seek understanding. You're probably a bit further ahead in terms of understanding what it is and what you need to do. But he's certainly starting to question what it is. But with the Wheel in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, I do feel like the universe is coming crashing in and just kind of destroying that which doesn't serve you. And this is happening for him too. And we've got the Empress energy over here, the energy of creation and rebirth. And remember, the bee reminds us that there will be a miracle, that sweet results await. And I think somehow he's trusting a bit more. Perhaps he's a less anxious person in general as well, I think. But he's trusting in things actually beginning to happen in a more positive way. You know, I feel like he'll find it a little bit easier and less uncomfortable to let go. The connecting energy here is the Tower in reverse, which just show a degree of resistance. And it also lets us know that, you know, I think there's more to come. That there's more, let's get some clarifiers on this. There are more changes to come. There are more energies that still need to be moved and shifted. It's not over yet. I feel like you're heading for the peak of it. Yeah, we've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse, Death in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune. So this transformation is not complete. Okay, and it's definitely impacting work lives above all else. And this is, so it's creating time for you both to think and heal. So this temporary kind of respite from work, these kind of endings that are coming about for you two are actually going to give you some time and space to breathe, to question, to understand, to heal, to analyse. It's all positive, even though it may feel terrifying and unproductive as it's happening. It's serving both of you. So I don't feel like you two are in communication, and I don't see any indication of communication, to be honest. I think you're each going through this stuff kind of independent, and that's perhaps why I was picking up on this alone energy. But you're never really alone. You're always in the power of love and the power of one another's love, especially. The Divine Feminine, we've got recovery, renewal, and impatience. And for the Divine Masculine, we've got perception, gratitude, and destiny. Let's get one for the connecting energy as well. Mysticism, look at that. This is both parties powerfully waking up. So Divine Feminine, we've got recovery and renewal for you. Trust that when you learn to connect to spirit, and that's all you need to do at the moment. You just, if you're asking what to do, you just need to learn to be still, to learn to embrace stillness. And it's from that point of stillness that spirit can begin to communicate with you and give you the key to your recovery, your healing. This is what leads to your renewal and to grounding your new spiritual understandings in your reality, and to start feeling the benefits of that. But you mustn't get impatient with yourself. You must trust that everything is moving in the right order and the right timing. Your only job right now is to try and learn to be still, and to find that connection to the light from within. I think it's the same for the masculine. He's being asked to adjust his perception of transformation, love, and life. And I feel like he's going to get a lot of support from, this feels like female relatives that are going to be really supportive in the face of these changes in him. But he's also understanding that there is a destined element towards these shifts in his life. There is destiny as far as you two are concerned. Look, we see these two people here. Can't see if they're men or women, but they are kneeling before these what appear to be ascended masters. They're wearing black and white, light and dark. Yeah, one of them's, they're looking at one another, but they've got these kind of teachers here, these wise teachers reminding them of their destiny. And of course the connecting energy is mysticism, which is really powerful. This is understanding that both of you have to shift towards this truth. This is a very, very, very powerful connection. Hold on, some of these cards are turned over already. Just straighten them all out. This is a very powerful connection between you that I feel is undergoing a massive spiritual activation in both of you. And, even though you're apart. Okay, let's get some guidance cards. Farewell to the moon. Beauty. The return of Aphrodite. Imrama, the present, and guide. That's interesting because we had those teachers there. That's what this one is about: a guide, mentor, or trustworthy ally. So farewell to the moon. Appreciate and enjoy the lunar light cycles. I think this is asking you to get in touch with your own divinity through your connection to the moon cycles, which if you still have menstrual periods, that is the best way to track it and to track its shifts within you. To remember that a full moon is about releasing, because as the moon begins to shrink, you're letting go. And the waxing moon, which is the moon that's growing big towards full, is the best one for manifesting and building upon things. So you're really being asked to appreciate and connect with lunar energy. This is part of your karmic history and soul's timeline. Maybe you need to do some research surrounding that, the triple moon goddess, all that kind of female divinity connected to the moon and its cycles. There's definitely a need to address body image and self-image issues with this beauty card, to recognize the integrity and the form of your spirit rather than your body. You know, because you are very beautiful. You are beautiful inside and out, but you don't believe that about yourself. And so this card is about self-empowerment and about learning to be kind to yourself, especially when you look in the mirror. The return of Aphrodite is the birth of that goddess. It's goddess energy and treating yourself as sacred. It's coming into balance and harmony with yourself. This is literally the return to your own divinity, the return to your own power. So really beautiful cards for you. You just need to embrace this journey and stop telling yourself you're crazy. No one needs to agree with you. You know, you just need to do what makes you feel good. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. For the masculine, crossing deep waters, journey of the soul or pilgrimage, a gift, treasure, revelation, a nowness, and a guide, mentor, trustworthy ally. I really just feel like he's changing. He's going on this inner journey. He's moving towards enlightenment. He's being, you know, this is going to be teaching him how the present is a gift. That's mindfulness. That's recognizing that we only really have the moment in which we exist in now. Everything else is... it's not real, is it? You know, the past is gone and tomorrow doesn't exist yet. So I'm really impressed with this masculine. It feels like he's waking up and he's asking questions, and he's got a deeply inquisitive philosophical mind, and he's riveted and fascinated by the depth of this connection. He wants to understand it, Divine Feminine. He's going to, you know, when you guys get in touch, and I'm not seeing any communication between you, perhaps you are speaking, but it doesn't appear like that's the case here. But it does feel like the universe is allowing you each this time of independence so that you can find your feet with this. The final cards, we've got soulmates. And isn't that a beautiful card? Look at that. 2 butterflies embracing their transformation, coming together in love and light. And we've got luminosity. Again, coming into full bloom, awakening, just, you know, radiating love and light. These are such beautiful energies for both of you. You know, these soulmate or twin flame connections don't often happen this way, where both counterparts are sharing a very similar kind of spiritual awakening at once. Usually it's the Divine Feminine first, but I really feel like you have a highly evolved Divine Masculine on your hands, and that, you know, he is recognizing the divinity within this connection and the soulful nature of it, and he's pursuing that. He's asking questions, he's getting curious, he wants to understand it. He is waking up. So I really hope that was helpful, pile 3. Apologies for the interruption and for my coughing. I appreciate you being so patient with me. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can of course do that through my website, happysouls1111.com. I am only accepting 1 hour bookings at the moment, just because doing lots of kind of 15-minute bookings every day was quite draining, and I'm just having a little break. But I can still do a twin connection check or a normal tarot reading when you book a 1 hour session with me, though they are kind of healing guidance focused, but you can check them out on my website. You can also find me over at Instagram, happysouls1111. I try and post there most days with mini reads and little updates, so you might enjoy that too. I will see you next time. Thank you, pile 3. Pile 4, it feels like I started this video hours ago. I've had a break because I kept having coughing fits, which have since stopped, but it's good to finally get to you. Of course, you've just hit the timestamp and here I am. Ta-da! So it's nice and easy. But if I do start coughing, I'll just pause the video again. I'm not going to make you sit through it like I did pile 2. And in the end, I gave up on pile 3 and just went away and came back. Okay, so we've got the good tarot for you. Whilst I'm shuffling these and preparing the cards, just to remind you guys, I am going to use the she and he gender pronouns. This is not personal preference, it's just what works for me when I'm channeling, because it's the easiest one to remember and I don't get muddled up. I'm not trying to offend anyone. My readings aren't gender specific. You can, of course, adjust the gender's pronouns as you see fit. So I'm going to refer to the Divine Feminine on the left as she and the Divine Masculine on the left as he, but you might be he, she, or he, she, or what, you know, whatever combination works for you. Just adjust it as you see fit, okay? Whichever energy you relate to the most is absolutely fine. I'm not trying to alienate anyone, but it's just what's easier for me while I'm channeling. So our Divine Feminine, we've got Lizard Spirit. Our Divine Masculine, we've got Pig Spirit. And the connecting energies in the middle is Groundhog Spirit. Beautiful. Okay, let's choose some cards for our Divine Feminine. We're going to look first at the current energies. What are current energies in this connection? We've got Empress. That's beautiful. We've got the Six of Wands in reverse. And we've got the Two of Swords. What's she feeling and thinking in the connection? We've got the Nine of Wands. We've got the Hermit in reverse. And we've got Judgment in reverse. And what's shifting for our Divine Feminine? Oh, it's too many. I'm going to shuffle those back in, see if they come out again. What's shifting for our Divine Feminine? The Five of Swords. The Six of Earth, or Pentacles. And the High Priestess. Beautiful. Right, we're going to use the Light Seers. No, I keep saying that. We're going to use the Muse Tarot for the Divine Masculine side. Let's have a look. What are his current energies? What's the energies masculine's in? Six of Cups. Temperance in reverse. And the Six of Wands. What's he feeling and thinking about the connection? We've got the World in reverse. We've got the Muse or King of Swords. We've got the Star in reverse. And what's shifting for the masculine? Nine of Cups. The Knight of Wands. And the Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay. Pardon me. Right, for the connecting energies down the centre, we're using the Spirit Speak Tarot. Spirit Speak Tarot. Let's have a look. What's the connecting energies? Current energies. King of Cups. Thoughts and feelings, Knight of Swords in reverse. And what's shifting? King of Wands. Okay, let's get some oracle cards as well, powerful. This is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, a gift from Yasmina. We've got expansion, forgiveness, creation, and victim. Going to tune into these energies and get a feel for what's happening here. We've got a lot of sixes out. We've got a lot of sixes out for both the masculine and the feminine. Six is the number of love. The Divine Feminine in this lizard spirit. Lizards always make me think of quite mythical creatures. It says here, they dream the world into being. And this reduces to number 2, the number of duality, the High Priestess, receptivity, mysticism. And with the Empress here as well, I do feel like, you know, this Divine Feminine, we've also got here creation, the power of creation. You know, she's in a very abundant flow of energy. But there's a block here because she doesn't trust in her own victory. Even though she has this power and these abilities, it's not coming to fruition. And this is because she's indecisive about what she really wants. This is someone who's manifesting but is always changing their mind. And bearing in mind it's regards to the connection, I feel like it's I love him not, I love him not. And so this is thwarting her ability to manifest that which she needs and what serves her into her life, is what I'm hearing. It's this indecision. Now it's really interesting that this is the Two of Air, but it feels like such a watery card for me. It feels like it's her changeable and transient emotions that actually makes her so indecisive. But she definitely doesn't trust that there can be a victorious union in this connection. She swings between having faith in it and not trusting it at all is what I'm hearing. The Divine Masculine, you know, I feel like, again, we've got a lot of sixes over here. You know, he does recognise that there's a kind of, at least I think he thinks, you know, you're definitely like past life lovers, soulmates. He knows there's some kind of connection between you, but even the thought of that, you know, makes him feel quite vulnerable. You know, even thinking it to himself makes him feel quite silly. But whereas this Divine Feminine is lacking faith in union, the masculine here, you know, wants it and believes in it. It believes he's believing that they can be victorious, that they can come together and be harmonious. You know, he wants that growth and expansion within their relationship. He wants to explore it. This is also a number 11 card. Both of these were number 11 that reduced to number 2. And, you know, again, I feel like this is, I mean, it says you use your mind wisely, and it's a pig with wings. And of course we say, well, pigs might fly, don't we, for something unlikely that's going to happen. And bearing in mind, he's got faith in this connection and faith in having a victorious union. I do feel like, you know, it is entirely possible. It's just that this Divine Feminine, because she hasn't got that faith, she's not trusting, she's not able to get into this energy of faith. It's her own intrusive thoughts that are keeping her stuck. But there has been a need for each of them to be brought into balances independently. So it could be that there's a separation between you here. And I feel like neither of you has really expressed the depth of your love either, with the King of Cups as the connecting energy. It feels like there's a lot that hasn't been revealed. There's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of unspoken truths. There's a lot of, you know, feelings that haven't yet been expressed out loud or in any sense. And the Divine Feminine is feeling pretty hard done by. You know, she's not giving up, but I feel like this Divine Feminine, she's not really answering the call of her spirit. We've got the Hermit in reverse here and Judgment in reverse, and it feels like, you know, she's in this kind of victim consciousness, this complaining energy. There's also a dragon here in this card as well. The acorn for me represents growth, but you know, there's a little face in this acorn. It's such an interesting card. It kind of looks trapped, doesn't it? It's holding out his arms like, I don't know what to do. And there's this dragon in the background. It's a really unusual card to be called victim. But as I said, I feel like you're a victim of your own lack of faith. I'm going to move the cards so you can see them all. You're a victim of your own lack of faith. And even though you're not giving up, your kind of refusal to step into this inner reflection, to step into your spiritual path, I feel like you're embracing all of your earthly feminine power. You know how to manifest, you know how to get into the vortex, but you're not allowing yourself to really be deeply ingrained in the spiritual nature of this connection. This has been a theme in all piles today, to be honest. The masculine knows it's not over, and he thinks of nothing else but you. And I feel like even though the Divine Feminine doesn't want to give up, she also, you know, there's a resistance to doing that healing work. She doesn't want to give up on him, but she feels like he's treated her really badly, and that it's probably easier to let go than potentially, you know, allow this kind of, should we just say, situation that didn't serve her previously. But the Divine Masculine knows it's not over. He hopes you can forgive him. You know, he knows that you don't have faith in him. And at the moment, he's powerless to take action to kind of prove it to you or seek your forgiveness. But that's his intention for sure. He knows it's not over between you, no matter what you say. And I think it could be that you've kind of, you know, with the Knight of Swords as the connecting energy here, you've both had some really harsh words. You know, there's been some kind of conflict between you. And even though the feminine's not really giving up and the masculine knows it's not over, it could have been a war of words that ended in something along the lines of, you know, I'm never speaking to you again. And both parties have been silent ever since. But again, I think both parties know it's not over. This isn't the end. There's more here than meets the eye. In terms of what's shifting, for the feminine, we've got the Five of Swords. And normally I associate this card with conflict, but you can see here that she's actually dancing with peace. Okay, she's turning that confrontation into light. And she's dancing with these doves of peace. She's still wearing a mask, so she's not necessarily being true. but she's being challenged to, and she's embracing peace over conflict. And with that Six of Pentacles represented here by this stag, she's trying to give anyway. You know, she's trying to bring herself and this connection back into balance. And look, connecting with her High Priestess energy, connecting with her truth and her divinity, which is helping her understand and have wisdom about how to move forward. So these are really powerful energies. You know, this is her trying to bring herself back into balance. This is her avoiding confrontation and conflict and choosing to take the higher ground. And we do see that this is going to help our masculine actually take action towards receiving forgiveness. This is both parties stepping into a much more powerful energy. We've got the Nine of Cups here for the masculine. That's emotional self-fulfillment and balance. And this frees him to charge forward, you know, with this Knight of Wands energy. Now, he may come in very casual, very light-hearted, very flirty to begin with. It may appear that he just wants some sexy time, but I don't think that's the case at all. Because the connecting energy is the King of Wands, which is much more mature energy than the Knight. You know, these might be his intentions, but I feel like once he's there, it's going to get... it's going to be more. The conversation, the messages, the communication is going to be more than what he intended. He intended to keep it light. I don't think it's going to be. And I think our divine feminine here is going to have the confidence to communicate from a much more... higher perspective, you know, from her intuition. Definitely. So let's get some more guidance cards. Discovery, guilt, complacency, vanity, abundance, facade, bittersweet, mysticism. Again, this is an Empress that focuses this is a divine feminine that focuses on her 3D realm. This is where she gets a lot of peace and comfort from. This is where she gets a lot of validation, approval. This is where she gets her self-worth. But it's not the truth of who she is. You know, it's covering up wounding is all. It's just helping her feel more confident and more capable in her 3D reality. But you're being asked here not to get complacent about self-discovery and to not allow guilt to get in the way. You're allowed to take time out for yourself. You're allowed to make time for yourself. You don't need to feel guilty about that. I actually put a post up today on my community page about boundaries. And if you feel guilty about taking me time, especially at the mercy of others, I think you should go and read that post. Okay, because the first act of self-love is to give yourself time, and I feel like you get complacent about that. And again, you know, like we talked about, you're not doing this spiritual journey to heal your wounds. This is something you need to get grounded in. You need to take your self-discovery and your connection to spirit seriously, because this is what's going to help you move out of victim consciousness and start manifesting that which you want, because you're powerful. You've got powerful manifesting desire. You understand that you're a co-creator of your world. So like I said with this lizard spirit, it says dream your world into being. You know this. But your own inner procrastination, your doubt, your lack of faith is what's holding that up. And you're about to discover what you really want, the truth of who you are. You're going to feel much better. For the masculine, we've got abundance and facade. And this is him being very triggered. There's a lot of changes. And I do feel like his recognition of you and perhaps your spirituality and the way you're communicating with him about spirit is going to help him kind of grow into his own truth. But this is going to be quite difficult, and it's going to feel like it really challenges his core sense of self. So I do feel like the masculine is, you know, the adult version of him is so fearful of loss and loss of stability and abundance in particular, I feel, with this masculine, that he may find it very difficult to integrate the truth that you're sharing with him. Even though he knows that there's something deep between you, the actual words for it, you know, may be hard for him to swallow. The concept, the philosophy itself. But, you know, there's definitely a lot of abundance coming his way. You know, it's what I said, pigs will fly. Stranger things have happened. And even though it doesn't seem like everything's lining up beautifully for him, in reality, it actually is. Things are going to work out great. You know, there's a lot of wish fulfillment in the reading here. We've got for the Divine Feminine, we've also got sacrifice, wave of power, vulnerability and visions. So the first thing that's jumping out is that you can trust your visions. You know, this kind of astral connection with him, you can trust it. You know, you need to open your heart. We've got here vulnerability. You need to open your heart and you need to express how you feel. Neither one of you has done that yet. And it doesn't serve you to keep it under your hats and to keep one another guessing. And someone has to say it first. It's quite a liberating thing to do once you've been authentic. Even if they don't reciprocate or return to you, there's some comfort in knowing that they at least demonstrate their acceptance by not running away and, you know, by still communicating with you. You know, it would be really uncomfortable for someone to maintain a relationship or friendship with you after you kind of made yourself vulnerable and opened your heart. So I think you can trust that even if you don't get the kind of outcome that you're expecting, you know, it's allowing you to be received in a much more authentic way. But you can start trusting your intuition. You know, we've got that High Priestess card down there. I think this is what really is shifting for you, that you're seeking support with your psychic development and progression. And this Sacrifice card reminds you there are those worth making and there are those that will destroy you. This is asking you to be really careful about the friends and family in your immediate circle. You know, there's some toxicity there. And again, we were talking about boundaries. There's some toxicity that needs to be addressed. We've got wave of power here and an upswing in energy, this exhilarating fast forward movement as you really step into your power and realize your own divinity. This is beautiful. And again, you know, this guy's just going to keep going. We've got homeland, arrival, establishment being settled, heaviness lifts, burdens are cast away, and weightlessness. You know, he is connecting with the truth of who he is. He's learning to go with the flow. He understands that it's destined and he's just going to keep going. These are really beautiful energies. You know, I really feel like he is not only kind of accepting of this connection, but he's actually starting to wake up to the truth of it, which is a theme we've seen across all the paths today, I have to say. But he knows he needs to seek your forgiveness, and it only takes the energy to shift on your side of the fence for him to feel confident and comfortable enough in coming forward. We've got the distorted feminine here, and we've got emotional freedom. And again, you know, this is about coming out of your shell and really embracing the light. You know, right now you're quite good at holding Empress energy in your 3D, but in the 5D where the energy is, where it really matters, you need to pull that energy in close, and you need to speak your truth, and you need to come out of your shell and just be proud of who you are. The masculine, we've got emotional freedom, and I'm hearing this in particular is freedom from inner conflict and freedom from the petty opinions of others as well. It feels like he's been doing a lot of soul searching and reflecting on his friendship groups also. So much mirror energies with you two. Yeah, so it really feels like he's kind of coming out of a period of stagnation and confusion himself, and that burden being lifting and allowing him to start settling into a very gentle but, you know, perhaps more slow moving way forward. But there's endurance here, and there's this idea of moving with the divine flow. So I really hope that was helpful for you, Pile 4. I'm sending you lots of love and light. As always, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can do that through happysouls1111.com. I am only doing 1 hour sessions at the moment, but you can get a twin connection check or ask me to pull some cards in one of those readings. And of course, you know, it is a guiding and healing focused reading, but I look forward to seeing you then. I'll be opening up tarot readings at some point, maybe in a couple of months or so. But for now, it's just those 1 hour sessions. Check me out on Instagram as well, happysouls1111. See you later, guys. Bye.